Just about everybody knows how to bookmark a website in your browser, and that way you can save websites to come back to later or websites that you go to fairly often. However, I'm going to show you a different way to bookmark sites today. It's called Diigo, D-I-I-G-O. This is a cloud-based bookmarking website, so that if you bookmark something on one computer, you can get to it from any other computer or even from your iPad, so that you can easily find your websites that you use often or websites that you want to use in your classroom from any device. So to get started with Diigo, you're going to go to diigo.com and you'll go to sign up. One of the reasons I like Diigo is because yes, you can sign up and make a brand new account with another password to remember, or you can simply sign in with your Google account. Since you already have a Google account, go ahead and make sure that you're logged into your Gmail. And if you click Join Diigo via Google, it will automatically connect you via your Google site. It might pop up a window asking you to give Diigo permission to access your Google information. You can say yes to that. I've already done that step, which is why it went ahead and logged me in. And you'll notice that you now come up to, you should have probably a blank Diigo page, but now you have your list of Diigo sites that you are Diigo bookmarks that you have bookmarked. And I'm going to show you just a little bit. There are a lot of tools in Diigo. I'm just going to show you a little bit about how to use Diigo. The first thing you're going to want to do is make a way to bookmark your sites easily. So once you're logged in, go up to this top right corner and you'll go down to Tools. And the very first tool that they have is called a Diigolet. And this Diigolet gives you a nice easy way to bookmark websites. So if you click on this Diigolet, and you notice it automatically recognizes that I'm in Chrome. If you're in Firefox or Internet Explorer, it might look a little bit different. But in Chrome, all you have to do is take this little button that says Diigolet and drag it up to your top bookmarks. And you notice it just popped it right up there that I have a Diigolet now. So now anytime that I go to a website, so I say I am curating resources to teach the Cuban Missile Crisis. So anytime I go to a website, I can now click on my Diigolet and I can bookmark it straight from here. And it pops up a little thing that if I want to add more information, if I want to give it a different title, a tag, so if I want to tag it with, and it even recommends ones to tag it with, if I want to tag it with Cuban Missile Crisis, I can tag it with that so that anything with those tags I can find in a group later. And then I can save bookmark. And now, if I go back to my Diigo page, under my library, I can see that it's here. So I can easily come back to this resource again later. And it doesn't matter which computer I'm on. I can be on this computer, I can be on my iPad, I can be on a different computer in a different classroom. I'll still be able to get to this resource. Another thing that I really like about Diigo is the ability to make lists. So I've made a list for the Cuban Missile Crisis. So let's say you want to make a list. Just click on Create a List. Give it a name. This is where I title it Cuban Missile Crisis. Add a description if you want to, or you don't have to. You can decide if you want to make it public or private. I like public simply because if you want to use this in a classroom and allow others to use it, say you wanted a list of resources for your students, public would be a way that they would be able to see that. And then you hit create, and it would create your list. So now that I have a list, you notice I don't have anything in that list, no websites listed. Let me go back to my Cuban Missile Crisis Wikipedia article again. And now when I click on Diigo and I click on bookmark, I can add to a list and put it in my Cuban Missile Crisis list and save it there. And now my Cuban Missile Crisis list has one website. So I can go to another website that I'm going to put in my list, click on my Diigolet, bookmark it. But before I bookmark this one, I want to highlight something. There's something in this article that really stands out to me that I want to be able to remember, or maybe I want my students to pick up on that. So I'm going to highlight this first paragraph, for example. And now I can bookmark it, add it to my Cuban Missile Crisis list, and save. And now just to show you what that does, I'm going to go back to my Diigo list and refresh my list. And now you notice my Cuban Missile Crisis John F. Kennedy Library website. It says it's got one highlight. And if I click on this little highlight, it brings up for me the information that I have highlighted from that website. So you can highlight specific things in a website and come back to basically your notes for later. You can also click on your little pencil and add a sticky note. You can delete the highlight, you can change the color of the highlight. So you have different highlights that you can add, and it will attach those highlights to your website. Let me add a couple more bookmarks here to my Cuban Missile Crisis list. So I'm going to add this one to my Cuban Missile Crisis list. And let me go to the website, let me add this one to my Cuban Missile Crisis Diigo list, just to show you, a few different websites that are in there. Let me close all these out. So now on my Cuban Missile Crisis list, I have a total of, should be 4 websites that I can share out. I've got some highlights in each one, or a couple of them. And now that I have this curated list, and that might be more than that, it might be less than that, but I have this curated list that I want to share out with my students. So to share this list out, I'm going to go over here under this list info. It tells me how many items and when it was created and modified. And this little rectangle with the arrow out is always the share button. If I click on the share button, I can get a permalink, which means that this link will bring up all of these websites, and I can post this link on my website, I can post this link on Edmodo, and this link I'll show you by copy and then paste it in. And it's still going to have me logged in, but it's going to bring up these 4 websites. And you don't have to be logged into Diigo for that link to work. It will just bring up the websites. So I can show you, let me log out real quick, sign out. And if I paste that link in again, I'll show you what it looks like if you're not logged into Diigo. It tells you who made this list, it tells you the information that's on that list and the notes and the highlights that are in that list. So this information is now out there with one link. So all these websites, I could have 20 websites here that I've given my students one link to get to all these websites. Alright, let me log back in so I can show you a couple other things. There we go. Go back to my Cuban Missile Crisis list. If I go out to the share out button again, I can send this, which means that I can email it to somebody. So I can email it out to my students, or I can email it to myself if I want to. I can Twitter this. If I'm using Twitter in the classroom, I could tweet the link to my students. And then I can share this on other platforms. Now this would be something that you would already have set up. So if you had a blog set up that you wanted to use this in, you could do that. So the most common way to share is going to be that permalink. That's just kind of a very brief overview of Diigo and how you can use it, and the fact that it is very helpful to you in saving websites and being able to get to those websites no matter what platform and what device and what computer that you may be on. There is actually a lot more with Diigo that you can do. There's a lot more information and tools that Diigo offers you. So play around a little bit with it, see what you like about it, and if you want some more information about how you can use it, for example, you could embed these links on your website and they can update automatically every time you add one, which would be really great to use on your website. So if you wanted to do something like that, if you wanted me to show you something like that, absolutely please let me know, and I hope that Diigo can help you organize and keep your bookmarks.